How's it going, everyone? I hope everyone's staying safe out there and is all fit and healthy. And today on the lathe, at this moment in time, we have a piece of yew. And the job for today is we're going to make a cog to go inside the big cog on the Spirograph. That's the plan. So this piece of yew is 12 inches wide, and at its thickest it's about 4.5 inches thick. So what I've got to do is turn it down to exactly 12 inches, because I've got to drill some holes, 100 holes, in a circle of about 28.5 centimeters diameter, which doesn't leave me a lot of play on the outside of this piece of yew. Okay, so under closer inspection, this piece of yew is not quite big enough for what I want to do. So we're going to put that aside for later. So cog number 2, and we've gone back to a trusty old sycamore. This one's 12.25 inches wide. And I cut it more accurately on the bandsaw because it was flat to start with, so we can make a decent sized cog out of it. We're spinning at 1400 RPM with the 40/40 grind bowl gouge. Or as I like to call it, the everything tool, because I don't really think you need any other tools. That might be an unpopular statement, but I'm sure we can have a discourse on that one. So I'm just making it flat with my sanding paddle and putting my first mortise in, so I can turn it around and do the other side. So I wanted to make this cog quite thick. Thick enough, in fact, that we could split it in two down the centre and have 2 cogs, just in case I mess one of them up. So I'm just boring out that centre hole to 10mm for my drilling rig. And another mortise. And now we go to super speedy time-lapse mode, where you can see me building the jig, or adapting it from the last time we used it. And here we go. How many holes do you think we're going to get in this cog? Place your bets now. So with that done, we're back on the lathe, and I'm just separating the 2 cogs. The idea was I was going to cut it in half, but then I thought, well, there's no point cutting it in half all the way to then put it back on the lathe. I can just turn one of the cogs now and just get a test fit up. So I'm just putting some chamfers on to reveal the teeth of the cog. And I'll let you in on a little secret. This cog has 104 teeth. So somehow I messed it up again, and we had 4 extra teeth rather than a few missing this time. But I thought we might as well proceed and see just how far out it is when we try and put it in the big cog. Now, not only was there the wrong amount of teeth, I didn't drill the holes accurately enough, so some of the teeth are exposed and some of the teeth are almost disappeared. Okay, so what I've done, I've turned down this portion of this cog, just roughly, just to see, because we've got 104 teeth, just to see if the spacing was anywhere close, and the answer is no. You can see as it rolls round, the gaps change. So even though it looks pretty good in that centre section there, when you roll it round to here you've got tooth to tooth. And the same with the other side. But it's encouraging, and it's the first time we can demonstrate exactly what I'm banging on about with this thing, because that's the idea. But without it locking into the teeth, we don't stand much of a chance of making anything. So that is scrap. I wonder if I can make a bowl out of it. I might be able to. It's got a mortise in it. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to work out mathematically exactly what this spacing is, and then we're going to have to adjust our rig and do a damn sight better job of making another one of these with the correct spacing, because this was just wrong. There was a bit of slop on that 10mm hole, so I need to take that out. And there was also, I think it was the measurement at the back, as ever, the 62mm or whatever it was. What does it say? 62.82mm. Measuring that correctly, how are you supposed to do that? But however you're supposed to do it, I need to do a damn sight better job of it. So we're going to make another one of these tomorrow. But for now, that's going into my blank pile. And here is one that was too small to be a cog. But this is you, so I might just make a bowl out of this just for fun. What do you think? I think yes, Will, we should make a bowl out of it. Probably shouldn't have even considered making a cog out of it in the first place, you plonker. There we go. So, it's a little bit out of balance. So the first thing to do is take that weight off the back end of it. It's already nice and round. So as soon as we've done that, we can start contouring the back of our bowl. Now this ewe is at least 12 years seasoned, and it is absolutely bone dry. It's some of the only bits of wood I've got that won't warp, because it's properly seasoned. And I was lucky enough to get an absolute load of this from a very nice gentleman on eBay. And I've got enough yew to last me probably until I retire, I should imagine. So I'm just making enough space for my mortise to go in the bottom. Quite a small base for this bowl, but why not? So that's the mortise in. And on to the sanding. Now this was really easy because the wood was super dry. And we very quickly sanded it up to 600 grit and then I put some denatured alcohol on it to raise the grain, and then I put 1000 grit pad over the top. And no sanding paste today because you just don't need it with this wood. So straight to the shine juice on 1000 grit sanded finish, and it is pretty. And it's time to have a look at some of your fantastic work that you've been sending in. Okay, so I got an email from Jean Pierre Van Ooteghem, and he said that he is a new turner, and he sent me a lot of images, and I just cherry picked the best ones. And I'm not sure that Jean Pierre Van Ooteghem is a new turner looking at this work, because it's absolutely stunning, but that's by the by. Yeah, absolutely amazing work. Lots of segmented pieces, really cool laminated pieces, vases. Stunning. So thanks very much, Jean Pierre, for sending that in. And if you'd like your images to be featured on the show, you can send them in to willmakeseverything@gmail.com. Okay, so it's time for the hollowing. And I want to take this opportunity to invite everyone to come to our Facebook group, where we do a sort of daily show and tell of everything that we've been making. Just search for Will Makes Everything on Facebook. Come and join the group. It's all nice, like-minded people. And if you've got some images you want to send in for everyone to have a look at, just post them on the page. Still doing the email thing and the feature on the show, but if you can't wait and you just want to get them images out there, send them into the Facebook group. So the hollowing went fairly easy, considering this is quite a tough wood. And I decided I didn't want to do a traditional bowl. I wanted to do sort of a bowl in a bowl, but quite a wide inner bowl rather than a little small one in the middle. So I'm just using the 40-40 gouge to dig a trench in the rim. And it was really quite amazing how much of that gouge I could get into that small gap in the rim. Probably would have been a bit easier with like a 3/8 gouge, but considering this is a 1/2 inch bowl gouge, I managed to get quite a long way in there, really. So the outer rim is about 3/8 of an inch thick, all the way down, and this inner one, the bit that sticks out, is probably a little bit more than 1/4 of an inch, down to about 1/2 inch on the base. I didn't want to join the funnel club again, so I kept tapping the bottom just to hear the sound. And we got fairly thin without busting through, so I was happy about that. So a little bit of sanding, again up to 600 grit. Obviously inside the rim I had to hand sand it. And finally on with the shine juice. Absolutely no need for colour or sanding paste or anything on this wood. It's absolutely beautiful, just as it is. So I'll leave you as ever with the glamour shots. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and I will be back tomorrow with another cog. Yep, another cog. So we're going to try and get it right this time, get the project moving along. So thanks for following along, and I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.